Having had one of theatre's biggest ever hits with the curious incident of the dog in the nighttime, the director, Marianne, Elliott and the writer Simon Stevens have reunited for another play about intense relationships and complex emotions. Heisenberg, the Uncertainty Principle, which opens tomorrow in London, stars the crack duo of Anne-Marie Duff and Kenneth Cranham, who won last year's Olivier Award for the Best Actor. They play two lost souls magnetically attracted to each other in the most unlikely ways.
If you watch something closely enough, you realize you have no possible way of telling where it's going or how fast it's getting there. Did you know that? If you pay attention to where it's going or how fast it's moving, you stop watching it properly. That's the truth. That's actually scientifically been proven as the truth by a scientist, Werner Heisenberg, 1927.
This is this American woman in her middle age, and she's sort of a bit like a strange hummingbird, isn't she? She's just constant frenetic energy. The play is set in London, and the sort of brutal nature of living in London nowadays, and how that can encourage a kind of dislocation, and how it's very easy to slip into isolation living here. And so you have these two people who are sort of inside these horrible bubbles, but feeling a great necessity to burst out of those bubbles.
And so what about the title? Because Heisenberg is known for showing that it is not possible to both measure the place and the velocity of a particle at any one time. By looking at something, you change the nature of the looking. How does that relate to this play?
If you were to put it in terms of a love affair, if you are constantly focused on the future of that love, of where that love is going, of the momentum of that journey, it's very easy to lose sight of your partner and how they're changing or how they're growing. And the opposite way, if you're constantly focusing and loving and obsessing about another individual, you lose sight of the actual honest journey of that affair.
So it is really about the possibility and the impossibility of looking accurately at the person you love.
I think very much so, within the confines of this play.
Yeah, I've just learnt all about it.
And Kenneth, you've been on this stage several times before in some really great roles, and
yes.
You're going through a period in your life when the roles seem to be coming one after another, including, and not just the roles, the awards, the Olivier Award recently.
Yes, I'm having a late flourish.
A late flourish.
A last throw of the dice, maybe.
And you're going to be playing one of the famous Hatton Garden robbers, I think. Now.
Yeah, when that happened, when the actual robbery happened, it occurred to me, I thought, oh, there might be a bit of work there.
How right you were.
Well, how right I was, yeah.
Absolutely. And of all the roles in the past, I mean, obviously, you know very well for Shameless, but then for Elizabeth, and then for Suffragette, is there one particular role that has stayed with you?
I think in terms of what I actually do, not the way that I'm seen, I would say St. Joan. Working with Marianne on St. Joan was an absolute revelation for me, and I learnt an insane amount working on that play. And there are speeches from the play that are still with me 10 years down the line, and I felt so viscerally connected to that play. I don't think I'll ever forget that experience.
Wonderful. In the end, Heisenberg, the subtitle calls this a life-affirming play. In the end, do you think there is a message to take home from this play?
Every man I meet looks exactly like him. They have the same hair, the same eyes, they move the same way of breathing. You don't, though, remind me of him. You're exceptional in that sense.
I think so. I would say that if you could distill it, that the expression, one good deed is worth 1,000 good words, and that it's about how we act, the things that we do are far greater than ideas or labels or any of those things. That's what I would say.
Yes, yes. I think it's actually about kindness, and it's about people being able to see past the things that other people throw at them.
The uncertainty principle. I watched my son all the time. He took me completely by surprise.
Wonderful. Now, I can't end this on this particular week by asking whether you saw any of Theresa May's speech. At a human level, what did you think? Well, there must be moments when you're on stage, you're in front of everybody, and something terrible goes on, and you just have to keep going.
Well, there's a great quote, isn't there, that Nureyev says about dancers. He says, you know, people don't come to watch us dance, they come to watch our fear. And so much of performance is about what you do with your fear, how you cope with it, how you handle it. And I think it was probably, you know, it's very easy to finger point, etc. But, you know, I guess that it can be overwhelming. I'm being as diplomatic as I can be.
It's a terrible thing when somebody is supposed to be dead on stage. The entire audience is watching, trying to catch them breathing. That's what they do.
Well, she was trying to be breathing on stage.
Yeah.
Kenneth and Marie, thank you very much for talking.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
They come to watch your fear. And Heisenberg, the Uncertainty Principle, opens tomorrow night at Wyndham's Theatre in London and runs until January.